everybody, welcome back again. It's 10 minutes worth, and we're on to a new season, and I'm going to get things started with my next guest. My next guest is a 7-time WACO World Title winner and a 6-time WACO European World Title winner. Of course, we know her as an undefeated Invicta FC prospect. Please welcome Shauna Bannon to the show. Hello, Mama B. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Not as good as you, who's got a nice 5-0 in MMA. Did you realize this was going to be the path for you? You know, we've known you from sports karate and everything else, but did you always want to do this?
No, definitely not. No. I never even really had an interest in MMA, to be totally honest. I think Conor McGregor put it on the maps for Ireland, and then I kind of started like looking at it a little bit, but it was never something that I knew enough about to kind of be like, oh, I want to try that. It was more so I had done everything there was to do in kickboxing, and then I kind of transferred over to Olympic style taekwondo because I wanted to go to the Olympics. That was always the dream, but I kind of came to the realization that kickboxing wasn't going to be in the Olympics in my time. So I was like, right, let's give taekwondo a go, see how I progress in that, and hopefully try and get to the Olympics in that sport. But I didn't really like it. I missed punching. I felt like I couldn't express myself as a martial artist. It just wasn't really for me. So then I done that for about a year and a half, and I competed a lot internationally. I went to the Worlds, like a lot of international tournaments, but I didn't have passion for it. I didn't have that inside feeling where I was like, So there was like a period of time where Paddy was swapping gyms, and he was doing jiu-jitsu in where I was doing taekwondo, and he was also doing it in my dad's kickboxing gym, but was mainly in between the taekwondo classes I seen it, and I was kind of like, what are they doing? Like, what? I was confused by it because I didn't understand it. But I was intrigued, and I was like, I want to know more about that. So when I decided to stop doing taekwondo, I was like, maybe I'll just try jiu-jitsu and do it for fun and not be competitive and just do something and take my mind off things and maybe not compete for a few years. But then I done one jiu-jitsu class. The second day I went back to do my second jiu-jitsu class. There was an MMA class on. I ended up jumping in and I fell in love with it. I knew I was like, I'm going to be professional in this. This is what I want to make a career out of.
Now, this is interesting because you kind of found your way there with jiu-jitsu. And also, I'll take a little bit of a page. If you haven't seen your last fight, I do believe it is available on YouTube. You should be able to go take a look at it. You got put in a knee bar, and you were pretty much sitting in the splits for a while. I watched it live. I was a little bit concerned. And one of the things I do believe, it might have been one of the commentators that said that, don't worry, she practices yoga a lot. She's going to be absolutely fine. It looked like a very uncomfortable position. You weathered it, no problem. And you might even have been asked about that on your post-fight interview. Did your flexibility help you escape that position? No injuries whatsoever?
No, and I was fresh. It wasn't even on. I was like, this is a nice little hamstring stretch for me. And I was just like, few liver shots. I was like to Paddy, what's left on the time? He was trying to tell me without her seeing. He was like, there was 2 minutes, and then there was a minute and 30 seconds. And then she kind of moved a little bit, and I was able to lock my legs and pull my leg back. And then I ended up on top. But yeah, no, I knew there was no threat there. I was fairly confident that it wasn't on. There was no pressure in any ways where I felt like I was going to get injured. It was more like, it really was just like a hamstring stretch. I think if she had been the opposite way around and pulling back and hipping into it, it might have been a little bit of a different situation. But the fact that she was on top and she had nowhere else to pull it, it was fine. There was no issue. I do a lot of yoga in the yoga lab, and then my sister has a yoga studio as well, D24 yoga, so that probably did help as well. And then doing kickboxing for years, you'd be stretching at the start and end of every class, so all of that definitely paid off and helped because I didn't feel anything.
So, of course, we know that you've got a great background in kickboxing, and you mentioned you kind of jumped into MMA and jiu-jitsu. What was I would almost say biggest stumbling block, but we have this, you have a great history for kickboxing. How did you take to jiu-jitsu? Was that and also wrestling? Wrestling's involved in MMA as well. What was this is a little bit difficult. I've got to work a lot harder at it that you found when jumping to this new avenue of competition?
Yeah, I kind of went, when I started MMA, I just went in deep. Like I was doing all the advanced classes straight away. And I remember my first sparring session, I was like, kick, 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 you know, the way you do in point fighting, kick, 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 kick. And I was just getting thrown on my head. And I was like, right, okay, maybe the multiple kicks is not for this one. So I had to kind of bring that back. The distance in my striking was different as well because the takedowns are there. So I was always very aggressive in point fighting and continuous fighting, whereas I kind of had to hold back a little bit and not blitz as much and throw my body forward. I had to readjust all of that in the striking aspect. And then the jiu-jitsu, I loved it from the get-go. Like, I found it so interesting. I was addicted. It was like, for the first, I'm going to say, 1.5 to 2 years, I done jiu-jitsu twice a day. So I actually kind of neglected my striking for a little bit. I was like, I haven't got the time to be doing both. So I made it my priority. The jiu-jitsu and wrestling was my priority. The wrestling classes in the gym definitely helped so much with my fence work and stuff like that and takedown defense. For ages, it was like I didn't want to be taken down. I was like, takedown defense, takedown defense, takedown defense the whole time because I was afraid of it getting to the ground. But now I'm at the stage where I'm like, I don't even care if it goes to the ground because I'm really good off my back. I can attack arm bars, triangles, and I kind of feel like now at the stage that I'm at, I'm a well-rounded fighter and I can take it wherever the game goes. I'm confident. Whereas at the very start, I remember it was just like panic stations about being taken down. Whereas now that I'm confident at getting taken down, it's helped the full game because I'm not trying to avoid anything. I'm confident wherever it goes. So it's not like, I can't be here, which is helping my striking because if I'm going with my striking, I'm not thinking about, I can't get taken down. I'm thinking about landing my shots. And wherever I take the game, it's not a negative thing. It's always positive because I'm happy wherever it goes. Obviously, striking is where I have the most experience. I've been doing it since I'm 3. It's nearly 3 decades now that I'm doing striking. So that's obviously where I'm way more confident because I'm only doing wrestling and jiu-jitsu. It's coming up to 5 years now. So like obviously people would expect me to just stick to the striking, but I'm confident on the ground now and I'm happy like to take them down and be on top and get a ground and pound, or if I'm on my back and I'm attacking triangles or arm bars, I'm happy to be kind of anywhere because I've kind of developed my game. I've obviously still a long way to go. Like there's always room for improvement and I'm nowhere near my full potential yet. I think that there's a lot more room for improvement, but I'm happy against, like, I feel like all the opponents that I've gone against, they probably should be better than me in certain aspects of the game, but I've been better than them, and it shows the time and effort that I've put in over the past 5 years that my grappling has come on leaps and bounds. The same with my wrestling.
So one of the things I want to ask you, and also I did see on your page you just celebrated. Is it Trafalgar Martial Arts celebrated 30 years?
Trafalgar Martial Arts, yeah. So 30 years the gym was open. My dad opened the gym the year that I was born, and like it's just amazing to see. Like, I was looking at the photos on the walls and all the different generations, and like it was even gone back to before there was Wackos. It was WKA, if you remember that, and then the Wackos developed, and then there was junior Wackos because all of that wasn't always there. Like I think people that join kickboxing now, the Wackos is available for everyone, but that wasn't always there, and there wasn't the opportunities that there is now. Yeah, with the international tournaments, there's so many more of the World Cups and training camps, and it's just really cool to see how much TMA has grown over the past 30 years, and the sport itself has grown so much. And it's like TMA has brought out some phenomenal athletes over the past few years, like multiple world champions and European champions from the ground, the juniors, all the way up to seniors. So it was a really special moment the other night at that event, and seeing everyone, old faces, people that had retired and people that are still there, and it was really cool.
It's really great to be able to take a look back and see, what a difference that gym has made. I wanted to ask you as we start to wrap things up, because you're on your way to training, you're constant in motion. Let's close it with 2 questions. One, you're 5-0. Where do you see your next fight for Invicta? And I'll get to the second one after you answer the first one.
Yeah, so I'm actually they've allowed me to fight on a different promotion. So I have a fight fairly soon, which will be announced soon. I can't say right now, but I'll have a
Okay,
fight
okay.
before my next fight with Invicta as well. And then I'm hoping to fight for the belt. Shannon has told me that I'll be fighting for the belt next, and that will probably be in July or August. They're actually hoping to come over to Dublin, so they're in talks with getting a venue and everything organised for it to come to Dublin. My debut with Invicta, I screamed on the mic after I won. I was like, we need to go to Dublin. And then after my performance the last time, she said, you know what, I think we're gonna go to Dublin. So it's exciting that it's never been out of America, so it's exciting that it's gonna come to Dublin. And I think it's actually even gonna be in my hometown. It's gonna be in Tala, which is even more special. So to win a world
Yes.
title in Tala, it'd be something very big. So yeah, it's an exciting future ahead.
Well, speaking of that, and speaking of also exciting, during the pandemic, which was a little bit of a downtime for most people, but you had a beautiful baby boy. What does it mean to you really, as if you need another thing to fight for, but you're fighting for him to provide a good future for him? How does he motivate you when he doesn't even know what motivation is?
I know, it's crazy. Like, ever since he's born, I never knew what love really was until Jace was born. The love that I have for him is just like, I didn't even think it was possible. He's literally my everything, and my life only begun when he was born. Everything I do is for him. The days that it's tough and like I'm wrecked and I'm sore and I'm tired and grumpy and hungry from cutting weight, and I'm like, the last thing I want to do now is go and get the head boxed off me for 10 rounds or whatever it is. I look at him and I just get the motivation that I need. He doesn't even realize the happiness that he brings to my life. Of me coming home from a hard day training and knowing that he's going to be there when I come home, it just makes everything worthwhile. And getting the win and coming home to him and giving him a big hug, he doesn't even realize what's going on. He's like, what's happening? But like, I know, and they're memories that I'll have with me forever. Like, he motivates me so much. He gives me the drive that I never knew I needed. I always thought I was a very motivated and driven person, but I'm even more hungry now. I don't think there's something that happens when you become a mother, and it just the love and drive that it gives you to be your full potential and be the best version of you. I blocked out so much any negative that was in my life. All I want is positive and good for Jace, and everything that's around me is positive and good. And any negative that comes my way, I just brush it off. It's all just good vibes that I want for my son. I just want to be able to give him the best life that he deserves.
That is absolutely well said. Well, Mama B, we'll be watching your social media. Please follow her she's active on Twitter. She's active on Instagram. She's active on Facebook. We can see the reunion with Jace right after this past fight that happened, and we'll keep watch for fight news when it does drop. And the best to you in the future. Really hope that Invicta does come to Dublin, and won't that be just a dream come true to not only fight and win in your hometown?
Yeah, for sure. It would be amazing.
Well, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us. We're wishing you the best, and we will see you guys soon with another episode.
Thanks so much for having me.